Half Dozen Customs. We're back out here on the Jeep today. Off camera, I sanded down those couple of spots that were up on the top cowl around that vent, and then a couple of pinholes that we had filled. There's still a couple more pinholes that I found going through that, but I sanded that stuff down off camera. We still have the Duraglass on the door, but I'm gonna work on starting to get this back wall cleaned up. So we're gonna go through some 80 grit for sure on the DA. Get my gloves and we'll start sanding. So we stripped this a while ago. There is some surface rust popping up in some spots. We fixed some pretty significant damage down on the bottom. So, you know, that's those spots that you're seeing down there, if you can see them. So you can see there was big, huge creases going through here. These were folded way up. It was all filled with filler. It was probably an inch thick there. We pushed everything back, pulled the dents out. We did some heat treating because it was all tin canny. We pushed the back wall of the cab out. It was all pushed in. So this like this darker area, how you can see that this is so much darker, and you can kind of see the darkness going in there. So what that is that we used my big wire wheel guy to strip all the paint out of there, and that's just what it looks like with doing it with the wire wheel, where a lot of this other stuff was stripped with my mud hog. So but you know, the mud hog didn't really fit in there too well because it's got a disc on it this big. You know, this barely fits in there, so I couldn't really use the mud hog in there. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start sanding and cleaning. I'm gonna start here on this section. We'll move across. Once we get this whole top section done, then we'll start moving down. Be right back. I'm gonna drain my compressor. Not having any problems with the DA, but as soon as I grab those grinders, it's spraying all over what we're trying to clean up. So having a hard time trying to decipher if it's a speck in the metal that we need to clean up, or if it's a splatter coming out of the grinder. So we'll be right back. Drain the tank, refill it, try again. Okay, I drained the tank earlier when I noticed it happened, and I drained the little filter guy on the side, and some came out. I drained the tank, and a lot came out, not as much as I had thought. We're just starting to come out of winter, so a lot of times during the winter, everything's froze up and I can't drain it. So I drain it when I can, when it's that cold out. Like if I've been out here all day with the heat on, I'll try and drain it. But a lot of times, like the actual valve will freeze up. So like I might get a little bit out of it and then it freezes up, and then that's kind of it. So come on. I need a closer table. Okay, we have made it over to this corner. We've gotten basically from the window that way on the top section here done and ready. And I'm gonna start getting this all ready. You can see I sanded down a little bit of the filler that we had on here previously. There's a lot more to do here, so I'm not going to film the whole thing. We'll just check in periodically through the process that's going on, and we'll show you guys what's up. So see you guys in a bit. Okay, just doing a little check-in before I call it a night. As you can see, we have the entire top all cleaned up. We have these 3 ribs going across all cleaned up. And then we have cleaned up this whole section down here. It's looking good. I'm pretty happy with everything. I forgot how rough the back of this actually was. It is taking some time. Don't mind if you see a bunch of spots in here. It's oil from the grinder. I oiled the grinder this morning and it's just spraying oil all over the truck while I'm trying to clean it. I hate that, but gotta keep my tools oiled. But for the most part, it's getting all cleaned up. Tomorrow we'll come out here. I might have to probably sit on that bar there or something and work on the center section because I reached as far over as I could from the stool being in here. So, you know, we're getting closer. There's definitely a lot of stuff going on in that back panel. A lot of rust pitting. We haven't done any sandblasting back there. I'm probably gonna go through and do a little bit. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to use that little cookie thing and really dig into any rust spots that I find. And then I'm going in with some 36 on the grinder and I'm grinding it away. Some of it is just too deep to do that with. So I'm running over it with that cookie, I'm running over it with the grinder, and then we're DAing it down, and whatever I'm not able to get, we're gonna have to go back in and sandblast it. But we're able to get a lot of it by doing that process. It's just, you know, it's just a long process. I was really hoping to get that back wall done today and even, you know, get that Duraglass sanded down on that door. Neither happened. We got a lot of that back wall done, but didn't get it finished. There's just a lot more to it than I thought, and like I said, we'll finish getting it cleaned up tomorrow, and then I'm gonna have to go through and we're gonna have to sandblast some stuff. I'll just use my little spot blaster, and then we'll have to go back and we'll have to DA everything that I had sandblasted and whatnot. But lots of dings, lots of dents, lots of rust along that back wall. So I've been out here pretty much all day. It's hard to get motivated, you know, doing that stuff. Like, you know, when it's a door or, you know, the top of this panel, and, you know, you spend, you know, an hour and a half on it and you get it cleaned up, and it's awesome. You're on to the next thing. but you know, that back wall is so big. You know, what we have done, you know, I probably got close to 5 hours into that. You know, just sanding and cleaning and grinding and sanding and more sanding and you know, and you seen that back wall was kind of rough. We basically used a wire wheel to strip off, you know, a very thick layer of paint, primer, Bondo, lots and lots of Bondo, and it just kind of, you know, using a wire wheel on this stuff, it just kind of melts into it, and that's why, you know, you have that black kind of smeared look in the metal back there. You know, if you back up a little bit, you look at what I cleaned and then what hasn't been cleaned, like the metal looks black next to what we've cleaned, and that black stuff's hard to get rid of. But that's from the wire wheel just kind of melting everything off of there and kind of smearing the stuff around. And, you know, is what it is. You know, maybe before we try sandblasting, maybe we'll try going back with the wire wheel. Now that we got everything cleaned up, maybe it can get into those pits a little bit better, but we'll probably end up sandblasting. But I'll give the wire wheel a whirl. That works a lot faster and a lot less messier than the sandblasting. But anyways, it's 10 o'clock at night. I've been out here since 10 o'clock this morning. You know, minus eating and whatnot, but it's been a long day out here, and yeah, I think I'm ready to call it a night, and we will be back out here tomorrow. Remember to like, subscribe, share, leave a comment. See you guys in the morning. Come on.